Stephen Kotler is probably one of the biggest names in the area of flow today. If you just get on the internet, Google the name Stephen Kotler, you'll see all of the resources that he provides around flow and optimal performance. So, Jen, just in this idea of optimal performance and being able to get into a state of flow, I know it's so on the mainstream landscape right now. Everyone's talking about this thing. When we're talking about flow and optimal performance, what exactly are we talking about?
Yeah, and that's a great question because it's so much more than this idea of optimal performance. It supports our well being, our creativity, and our productivity. It helps us to level up and maximize our potential. And when we're cultivating a state of flow, we're creating a state that we're completely absorbed in that activity or work that we're doing. And we're in this state where it's a difficult but doable task, where it's really an optimal experience. We're so immersed in that joy of that moment that nothing else seems to matter, that time just stops. You ever had those moments where you have just this intense concentration, where you're so just in that zone? There are no other problems or issues right now. It's just you and that moment. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, he is the pioneering psychologist and positive psychology and happiness, but he is also considered the father of flow. And he theorized that people are actually at their happiest when they're in the state of flow, because they're engaged in this activity that's not too challenging, not so challenging that you say, never mind, I'm out of here, right? But it's really pushing you a little bit, right? Just that right amount of stretch, that you're moving away from this space of boredom, of being, I don't know, apathetic. You're not stuck there. You're really pushed away from this state into sort of an ecstasy that is highly self-rewarding, where you're able to kind of grow and help push yourself to that next level. And that really brings that sense of excitement, that joy, that happiness, really being able to accomplish so much more than you ever imagined. And that's enjoyable. That's intrinsically motivating. This is where Csikszentmihalyi actually talks about it being an autotelic experience, which is pretty exciting, knowing that it's a state where it's enjoyable, that's intrinsically motivating, and it's really a pleasant state where you're performing at a high level.
One of the biggest takeaways for me learning about the flow cycle was how we respond to struggle. And I thought about struggle and stress, and our natural tendency when we have a stressful event in front of us, our natural response to stress is typically some form of fight or flight. So stress shows up, struggle shows up in my life. Maybe I'm working on that thing. And because it's present, I either fight it along the way. I go through grinding. I'm just trying to make it through the day. I'm negative about it. I'm not appreciative for the struggle, and I'm just fight, fight, fight. Or I avoid it altogether. I flee. I procrastinate. I put it off. I pretend it's not there.
Yeah.
I see you shape it too. You experience that too. Yeah. But here's what I learned from learning about the flow cycle is struggle is the first and absolutely necessary step to getting into flow. We can't hit a flow state by sitting on the couch streaming our favorite show on Netflix, right? We just can't do it. So we have to have some element of struggle present and able to get into flows. If you can have a growth mindset that every struggle you go through is for something, it's growing you, you're building the skills, you're developing, maybe you're shedding your weakness or leaning into your potential. There's so many things that can come from going through struggle. I bet that if you were to think about some of the greatest growth moments in your life, they were amidst some element of struggle. The other piece of it is a positive mindset, right? Looking at that positive, how do we actually bring positivity and positive psychology into our life so that it is not always necessary when we hit struggle? It's actually something that has been ritualized.
I practice gratitude every morning before I get up and get out of bed. I utilize that opportunity to really think about the things that I'm really grateful for in my life, even if there is a struggle, right? Like you're talking about. But I also incorporate some breath work into that. So it is something that, like you said, ritualizing it, that's setting myself up for success. And what I've noticed is if I'm not doing that, I don't have that, that I don't feel the same in the morning, right? Maybe I don't have as much patience on that drive on the way to work. And that really seems to help me in the morning, especially.
How we show up and how we take care of ourselves and the lens through which we look at the world is really important here.
Mindfulness and flow are so interconnected. And also, it's why mindfulness is paramount. And we're talking about it right now. Mindfulness
Yes.
is definitely paramount for flow and optimal performance, but remembering what flow offers us. And when we combine that with mindfulness, how we're really setting ourselves up, not for just success in our professional lives and personal lives, but really to get closer to achieving those goals that we have for ourselves that really are going to enrich our lives. For really being able to be in a state that is rewarding and joyful and blissful. And who doesn't want more of that in their life? These tools are here to help you in achieving your goals that are connected with your larger purpose and meaning.